A bank manager tears apart a $50,000 check in front of a 16-year-old black girl, only to realize moments later her mother is a millionaire. But this isn't just about money. It's about pride, prejudice, and the painful truth of how people judge you before they even know your story. It was supposed to be a simple visit to the bank. The girl Maya stood in line nervously clutching a crumpled envelope in her hands. Her sneakers were worn, her hoodie oversized nothing. About her screamed wealth. People behind her whispered impatiently as she reached the counter. "Next," said the bank manager. Ms. Turner, a woman in her 50s with sharp glasses and an even sharper tone. Maya slid the check across the counter quietly. Ms. Turner looked at it and froze. 50,000. Her eyes darted from the number to the girl. "Where did you get this?" she asked suspiciously. "My mom gave it to me," Maya replied softly. "Your mom?" Ms. Turner repeated, half smirking. "And who exactly is your mom?" Maya hesitated. "She's not here right now. She's traveling for work." "Right," Turner muttered, her eyes narrowing. "Do you even have an account here?" Maya nodded, but before she could explain, Ms. Turner ripped the check in half right in front of her. "This bank doesn't entertain fraud," she said coldly. The entire room went silent. Maya's eyes filled with tears, her voice trembling. "That was my mom's bonus check. She told me to deposit it." Turner crossed her arms. "Sweetheart, if your mother had a bonus that size, she wouldn't have sent you here in a hoodie and sneakers." Maya stood frozen, humiliated. The guard looked away. People whispered again, louder this time. She picked up the torn pieces of the check and walked out quietly. But the story didn't end there. Because the next morning, a black limousine pulled up in front of the same bank. And when the door opened, everyone inside turned to stone. The next morning, a black limousine stopped in front of the bank, and when the door opened, everyone realized the girl's poor mother was the richest woman in the city. But instead of anger, the woman's next move would silence the entire bank and change one employee's life forever. Ms. Turner was sipping her morning coffee when she saw the luxury car through the glass door. The driver rushed to open the door, and out stepped a tall woman in a crisp white suit, wearing diamond earrings that caught the light like stars. Every head turned. She walked straight toward the manager's office, no hesitation, no fear. "Good morning," she said calmly, placing her handbag on the desk. "I believe you met my daughter yesterday. Her name is Maya." Turner blinked, trying to recall. "Oh, yes, the young girl with the torn check?" The woman interrupted, her tone icy but controlled. Turner's face flushed. I'm afraid there was a misunderstanding, Mrs. Dr. Elena Brooks," she said, CEO of Horizon Medical Technologies. The room went silent. Even the guard straightened up. Turner's hands trembled as she adjusted her glasses. "I'm so sorry, Dr. Brooks, I didn't know." Lena raised her hand. "You didn't need to know. You only needed to treat her with respect." There was a pause so heavy it could be felt. "She came here to deposit my annual bonus check," Elena continued, her voice steady but sharp. "And instead of assisting her, you accused her of fraud and tore it apart." Turner swallowed hard, the color draining from her face. I didn't mean to." "No," Elena cut in, her voice firm. "You meant to judge her, because she didn't look rich enough for you." Every employee around them stood frozen, afraid to breathe. Elena reached into her bag and pulled out a new check, this one even larger. She placed it on the counter. "Here," she said softly. "Deposit this one, but this time do it properly." Ms. Turner nodded quickly, tears starting to form. "Yes, of course, ma'am." But as she took the check, her hand shook again, because written on it, right below the signature, were the words, "For the lesson you needed to learn." Turner looked up, confused. Elena leaned forward and whispered, "This one's for you, but not the way you think." And with that, she turned and walked away, her daughter waiting for her at the door. Everyone in the bank watched silently as the two walked out together, one proud, one broken, and everyone else realizing they had just witnessed something unforgettable. When she opened the envelope the next day, she discovered something inside that wasn't money. It was something far more valuable and painful. That night, Ms. Turner couldn't sleep. The scene from the morning replayed in her mind over and over, the woman's cold gaze, the words, "For the lesson you needed to learn." She kept wondering, what did that even mean? Was the check fake again? Was it a setup, or was it something that would cost her more than just embarrassment? The next morning, when she arrived at the bank, she found a sealed envelope on her desk. It was plain white, with her name handwritten in neat cursive. Inside was a note, no greeting, no sign-off, just a single sentence. "You'll never understand respect until you've been treated the way you treated others." Her hands trembled as she unfolded the paper further. Attached was a document, a transfer notice. Effective immediately, She was being temporarily reassigned to a local community branch. Located in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city, Turner froze. She'd worked her entire life to reach this position. Now she was being sent back, not fired, but demoted in every way that mattered. Hours later, she found out the truth. Dr. Elena Brooks wasn't just a client. She was on the bank's board of advisors, a silent partner who had invested millions in community, financial education programs. Turner hadn't just humiliated a random customer, she'd insulted one of the most influential women connected to the bank. By noon, her phone buzzed. A message from HR. Dr. Brooks will be visiting your new branch tomorrow. You are to assist her with the youth training program. Turner's pride shattered completely. For the first time, she realized this wasn't punishment. It was redemption. The next day, she drove to the new branch, smaller, older, filled with families who could barely afford the basics. Children waited outside, holding notebooks and forms. Most of them were Black, Hispanic, or immigrants, the kind of people she'd judged her entire career without even noticing. Dr. Elena arrived shortly after, wearing the same calm expression. She walked up to Turner, not with anger, but with quiet strength. "Good morning, Ms. Turner," she said softly. "Welcome to the real world, the one you refuse to see." Turner lowered her head. I'm sorry, Dr. Brooks, I never realized how my actions—" Elena stopped her gently. "Don't apologize to me. Apologize to them. The ones who walk into a bank hoping for dignity and walk out feeling small." The words hit deeper than any punishment could. That day, Turner worked side by side with young kids, helping them open their first savings accounts. When the event ended, Elena handed her a new card. It read, "Empathy is the only currency that never loses value." For the first time in years, Ms. Turner smiled not because she earned something, but because she learned something. She once tore up a young Black girl's check, and today, she stood up for a young man who could have been her yesterday's victim. But what happened next proved one thing. People can change, and sometimes, redemption looks exactly like the mistake you once made. It had been 2 weeks since Ms. Turner's world collapsed. And in that time, she'd learned more about humanity than in her 20 years of banking. Every face that walked through the small community branch reminded her of the one she'd humiliated, the one she could never forget. That memory became her mirror and her mission. One stormy afternoon, the door creaked open. A young Black man stepped inside, drenched, holding a folder close to his chest. His voice trembled. "I need to cash this check, ma'am. Please." Turner's heart skipped a beat. The whispers started immediately. "Fake check," one teller murmured. "Scam," another said under her breath. Turner froze. The same words, the same tone, the same cruelty she once carried. She stood up slowly, walked toward the boy and said, "You're welcome here. Sit down, please." He looked confused, almost scared. "I'm sorry about the rain," she said with a soft smile. "Let's get this done for you." The other employees exchanged doubtful looks, but Turner ignored them. She took the check, examined it carefully, and called verification just as she once did with Maya. Except this time she didn't see skin color. She saw courage. After a few minutes, the verification officer on the line said, "Yes, ma'am, it's real. He's been contracted for a digital design project." Turner's lips curved into a smile. She printed the receipt and handed it to him. "Congratulations," she said warmly. "Your first big payment." The boy's eyes filled with relief and gratitude. "Thank you. I thought no one would believe me." Turner's voice broke slightly. "I once didn't believe someone like you, and I was wrong." He didn't understand what she meant, but smiled anyway. And as he left, Turner felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. The staff stood silent. No one dared to mock or whisper this time. Turner turned to them and said quietly, "Every check tells a story, but sometimes it's us who need to change before we can read it right." She walked back to her desk, the sound of rain fading outside. As she sat down, she noticed a small envelope tucked under her keyboard just like before. She opened it. Inside was a single note, handwritten in elegant cursive. "Redemption isn't about saying sorry. It's about doing better when you get the chance. Dr. Elena Brooks." Turner's eyes welled with tears. She looked up, smiled softly and whispered, "Lesson learned." Outside, the rain stopped. The world looked new again. And for the first time, so did she.